Hello everyone, I'm Hilary Chin. Thank you all so much for coming and watching my YouTube channel. I've had some concerns from some people asking me, I think these are really beginners asking me, Hilary, how do we create a form? How do we collect data? And how do we manage this data? Okay. And sometimes some people ask me, Hilary, how do they clean data? Okay, I think this video is for that purpose. I'll be teaching you using Kobotoolbox how to just create a small form. I'll deploy the form and then we'll collect data. When it comes into the form, I tell you how to check your data. At some point, I'll still show you how we can even edit data that has already been collected and entered into the form. And then from there, we'll remove the form, bring it into Excel, and then we do some cleaning, and then try to do something on pivot tables. And I think that in this small process, those of you who are actually beginners in Kobo Toolbox, you can better understand or even start understanding how to collect data and go through that process. Okay, this is what we do at Nusemo Tech. So many people get to me and ask me, how do we collect data? How do this data come in and how do we clean the data? Okay, so we are going to build a simple form here and show you how this works. So we'll go to new form, we click this, we click demo, we come here again, we click demo, and then we select education, and then we come here and we select Cameroon. Okay, so we want to show you how you can build a simple form, deploy the form, and then get data in and then clean the form. Okay, so I want to refresh this to go quick. So let's say we want to ask a question of name, right? So whoever is answering the question will be giving their names. The next thing, they'll be telling us their sex. Okay, and then we'll choose select one option now because we'll be giving them option. Okay, male and then female. Okay, so here I just love to do this. It's important when I put my data. So here now we have two questions. Okay, we have two questions: sex, whether male or female, name. And then the next thing we want to ask them is occupation, level of education. Okay, and then here again we still want to give them options. Select one, we'll put masters. Okay, master's degree, we'll put bachelor's. Okay, bachelor's degree. And then here now we will put others. Okay, I want you to also get this experience. We'll just put one for the sake of this video, and then we save. So now I want to create different kinds of questions so you understand different ways of how, when it comes into your Kobo toolbox, how it will look like. Okay, and then here now we'll put others. So what we are going to do here, we are going to create another question here and just put if others, then specify. Okay, and then here now they'll be writing, so we'll put text, so they'll be writing in. So the idea is, if somebody comes here and select bachelor's, if they select master's, fine. If they select bachelor's, fine. But if they select others, this question should automatically appear. So how are we going to do that? We'll go into this question that we have created, if others then specify. We'll go to the data, to the setting, and then we go to skip logic. Okay, and add a condition, and then we choose, and then we come now to the level of education here, and then we say that the level of education, if someone chooses others, then the next question should appear. Okay, this is important. And one rule that you must follow is that when you are creating a skip logic, the question that you want it to skip and appear should always appear after this question that will be selecting. Okay, so this question cannot appear up here, it will not work. So it must appear under here, because it's when they select these others before this one appears. So let's preview this form and see how it looks. Every time you create your form, you have to preview to see how it looks. Okay, remember, we want to go and collect data and then we move further. So if I come here, write my name, and then choose whether I'm male or female, I can choose masters, I can choose bachelor's, and if I choose other, automatically this other question appear. Okay, so now how do we send this form out and how do they collect data? Remember that we are at the level of forms here. This is data, this is setting, and this is summary. So we are going to be working between form and data for today, okay? So at the level of forms, we have designed our form, we are complete. Now we want to deploy the form. We are deploying. So this sign says deploy. Now we have deployed the form. And then once you deploy the form, it gives you different options here. It says online and offline multiple submissions, online only multiple submissions, online only single submission. So these are the different options. But many times for Android application, we'll be looking at this in other videos. I've overweighted to teach this, but I'm going to teach this very soon. And also embedded on your web code, we are also going to look at this, okay? And view only, we are also going to look at this. So today, I want you, if it's your first time of building a form, make sure you choose online, offline, multiple selection you choose. This is very good for the African setting because many times we don't have internet connections, etc. So it can really help us to build our forms and also deploy and collect data. So right here now, we have chosen offline and offline multiple submission. It means one person can submit many times. The next option that apply is allow submissions to this form without username or password. So we'll choose this on. So if I don't choose this, if I leave this without choosing this, it means I'll need to send my password and username of my account for people to come in. And that is risky in most cases, okay? So we just leave this open for people to answer this form. And then I always love to, after putting that on, I redeploy again to make sure that everything is intact. Now we have two options here. We have copy and we have open. Now you can copy this form. Once I click, it says copy clipboard to clipboard. And then I choose a different space on my browser and I paste the form and I open the form here. Once I open the form, you see the form now is open. Anybody in the world can start answering this form, okay? Through their mobile phones, anywhere, anytime. So the first thing I want to write is my name, Hilary, which you are going to see in the form. And then I'll choose a male. I want to choose other. I just wanted to see how this appears, okay? And then a console, just put certifications, okay? And then I click submit. So just give us, so it said demo was successfully submitted. So it shows that my form has been submitted successfully. So just give us some time. Let me put in data and then I come back. So right now, as I'm putting data, this is where it is entering. So if I come here and refresh my form, by clicking this small arrow up here, this small arrow here, up here, it refreshes. Now you see one submission. So if you look up here now, you see one submission. Okay, if I come back again and I put Derek and I say mail and I say masters and I click submit. Okay, so just assume that somebody is submitting from Ghana, from anywhere. All you need to do, come here and refresh your form, and then you see second submission has come in. I go up again and then I click Mary and then I choose Mary bachelor's and I click submit. You see? So as they are submitting, this is three submissions, three was successfully submitted. And I come to my form. Each time they submit, always come and then you refresh. Now, when you refresh, you see that you have three submissions. I go again to my form and then I put Larry, say mail, and then others, and then the PhD, and then I come and click submit again. So it says 4 was successfully submitted, and then I go to my form again and then I refresh. So at your end, you have to keep refreshing so the data is coming in, okay? So now you might be asking, how can I see this data? You can come here to data now. You see, now we have submissions. We have 4 submissions. We had Larry, we had Larry here, we had Mary, we had Derek, and we had Hillary, okay? And these are their sex position, and then you have others bachelors, and this is it, okay? So you can see this is where we chose others and we put PhD, we chose others and we put certifications. You see how this appear in your form. So it tells you, it gives you different numbers, it tells you when you are submitting the form, etc. Now to add a tip here, if maybe somebody submitted a form here and they did not put the right information, okay, you can come here and edit. You click that small pen there. So the form has opened. So this is what they submitted previously, and maybe it was not correct. They were supposed to put masters. So you can correct this at this level, or give them access to correct this. We'll be looking at how you can share your question or your form to another person to manage it. Okay, we'll be looking at that in other videos. But today we just want to stick on how you can collect data and bring it inside the system and clean. So now I can resubmit. So when I resubmit, it says thank you for participation. I come here now and I refresh again. You see that it changes now from PhD now to masters. Now we have two masters. Okay, sorry, from bachelor's to masters. So this is how it works. Now the next thing I want you to take note of is the fact that we just came from the form and then we moved to the data, and then now we want to move to download. So when you click, we are around the data here now. Okay, so when I click my download, I want the labels, I want the access form. We'll be talking about this in other videos, but please just make it basic and simple, right? Good. I can still go up here to tables where we are coming from. I can go to report. So the report already generated here tells me how many male and how many female, tells me how many masters and how many others, etc. It gives me in a graph form and in a statistical form. So what I want to show you here is go to your download here. When you go to download, go to export. When you click that export, you want to export this form to our Excel. So you just click download. You see? So it brings it now to Excel. This is it, it appears up here. So that's the form there. Now it appears. Make sure before you do this, you have the current version of Excel. So I open the form. Now your form is inside here. Okay? So how do you clean this form? The first question you must ask yourself is, what are the main things that you needed from this form? Okay? All you needed was the name, the level of education, the sex, and the name. So I'm going to come here. It shows me when this form was entered, okay? 30th of March. So I'm going to come here and I clean this and remove it out because I don't want this to be in my data, okay? I'll delete that out. That's the first cleaning up. The second cleanup, again, I'm going to remove the comma, the question marks, okay? So this is how you clean your form. I'm removing the question marks. The next thing is, remember that it came here and said, if others specify. So I want you to see this very clearly, okay? So this is how it appears. You see how it appears? If others specify. So this other here, I'm going to click this here now, copy, and then I come and paste it and replace it with this other. Okay? I'll also come here, click, copy this PhD, and I come and paste it under this other. You see that this column is no more useful. Are you seeing now? So now, see how I've cleaned my form. I'll now come here. You see, these are just IDs and codes within the system that tells you when you submitted, the time you submitted, etc., etc. So I'm going to come here now. I don't need this space again. I don't need all this. You see? So this is how we clean our data. Just imagine, just assume that this was maybe some thousand data and all that. You can still ask that, what if, let me go back, okay? What if there were lots of these questions? Let me go back and put others here, the way it were, okay? The way they were, others, sorry. You might be asking that, what if this question, let's first delete all this one first. Many times when I clean my data, I would love to first of all delete this one, and then I delete this one off. Oh, yeah, so you might be asking, what if we have many data here and we have others? Many data here. It's very simple. I'll always love to first of all come here and clean this space. Okay, because this is the cleaning going on. Perfect. So here now, what you do is come to data here, go to filters, put your filters on, come here and you filter only the data that has others, so you can see them correctly. Okay, let's say the line that we had the line up here. So all you do is just copy all of them, Control C, come here, go to home, and then go to paste, and then you paste them here. You see, now we have pasted. And then once you paste, you come here now, select everything. Now you no more have order under these filters. Now you have it all here, and then this column now becomes useless. You see, you have already cleaned this data. Okay, So now we can start analyzing this data, maybe putting it in Power BI to visualize, or maybe using a common, let's say, pivot tables, okay, that we have. We can now come and check sex by level of education. Now we can come and check sex by count. Okay, we want to know how many sex we have there, how many male and female, and maybe you can come here and then maybe put a visual. I don't know which one you want. We can come here and put maybe something that is, yeah, you see. And now we can start doing a lot of things, you see. Just now that we collected that data, we have done a lot of amazing stuff, you see. We're already cleaning our data. We're already cleaning our data and doing a whole lot of stuff, you see. We're already cleaning data labels. We want to put them on, and that is it. We can start making them big, small, etc., etc. So this is just how you can do a lot with your data. Okay, we can make this big, we can make it and all that stuff. Okay, we can come here, put titles, etc. Okay, I don't want to go into all this, but this is how you can clean your data from Kobotoolbox right up to this level, and then make life easy for your team, for your organization, and for yourself. Stay blessed, and let's. If you have any worries, you can click down below. Please, there's one thing you can do for me in these videos. You can always share, okay? And give me a concern if you have any worry. Down below, you also have our link to join our group to continue learning. Please, data is the future. Technology is the future. Make sure you have a grip of technology. It's very important. Thank you very much and stay blessed.